this video I got a question from someone who asked me about what my experience with Shambhavi Mahamudra is, and a bunch of other stuff, but keep it short, I just condensed the question. So yeah, my story with Shambhavi is a pretty long one, the longest one of any Isha practice, I guess, besides Isha Kriya Vipa Yoga. It was the first and most important kind of milestone for myself. I have got initiated by Sadhguru last year in April, 420, where I was in Los Angeles, not smoking weed, but learning Shambhavi. So it was really cool. I mean, it was really amazing, actually. And that was the first time where I met volunteers from Isha, and it was just amazing. The food there was great. Even though it was simple, it was so rich with prana, and it really changed a lot of things for me. Also, the whole event, when I saw Sadhguru the first time, I just blew my mind, really. He just had like a rainbow aura around him, and I was feeling like such an idiot for being so stressed all the time and uptight and taking life so seriously. He was just coming in dancing, dancing and everything, and they had sounds of Isha there, playing live music. Everybody was starting to dance, and I couldn't dance because I was so serious about life, and I was just namaskaram all the way. And it's hard to describe for me. It was beautiful, and at the same time I felt really ugly, but it was because I had such a big ego and all the time, and that was a really big moment for me to see my ego from a distant point of view and like look at it for what it is, and it was nothing nice. And I had that also at ayahuasca, but it happened again. And then when Sadhguru was talking and initiating us, it was just the best day of my life, man. Really, I mean, I had many best days of my life, but in that sense, that moment was really deep, so profound. And there was a couple of amazing moments there, like the initiation itself was crazy. Before we got initiated, Sadhguru said, so I'm not going to tell you actually too much, but this one I will tell you. We were supposed to look in the person's eye to our left or something like that, and look at that person like it's like we're their mother and it's our child, and it's the first time you see that person, that child of yours. So like it's your child, but you've not seen it until now. It's the first time you meet your child, basically. And that was so rich for me, that moment, because up until that point, femininity or being a mother wasn't really something in my consciousness that much, and I didn't know the beauty of it that much. And since then, I've been more and more trying to like feel emotions that women feel or mothers feel, also on the feminine side of things, and I've been connecting with women a lot better also. And there was this woman, she was like, I don't know, I guess 40, maybe 35, 45-ish, blonde woman, and really kind of a hippie actually. And I looked in her eyes, and like she looked in my eyes the same way. So we both had this like really intense look. And she just fell apart though, like she couldn't handle it somehow. Like I guess the moment was so immense for her, it was even more immense than for me. And then during the initiation, she really started to cry like loudly, and she was sitting right next to me, and it was really amazing. Actually, there was so many animal noises happening at the initiation phase. I was hearing all kinds of animals, not just me. The person I came with, she also heard a bunch of noises. Like it sounded like giraffes and monkeys and rhinoceros and donkeys and horses, and like it just sounded like a zoo. And I thought it was actually recorded audio because it just sounded like a zoo, like a jungle. But no, it wasn't. We asked later about that too. So that was initiation, and then I made a commitment to do this every day of my life. Like that day, I made that commitment. Like I realized where Sadhguru will pick me up from a really dark spot in my life. For a long time, I've been in a dark spot, and where he picked me up out of it, put me in a different place, and that alone, I just wanted to show my respect and my gratefulness for that, and my appreciation for him being with me. And that alone was my commitment to just do that, because I felt if I do this for the rest of my life, at least in my life when I die, I can say, you know what, I paid my tributes for this moment that I had that day, with him. And so since then, I've done it every day. Even the worst days, I've been doing it every day. And you know what? Like the first month, nothing happened. It happened, but I didn't feel it. I felt it a little bit, and it came more and more and more. And then I laid away from the meats, and then it happened a lot more. And then I tried meat again, and then I realized, oh, if I eat meat, the power goes away, the energy goes away. I don't notice what's happening anymore. It's like kind of like having an anesthesia in your body or something. Like the energy doesn't flow the same way. So I laid off the mammal meats, the cows and the pigs and all that stuff. I've not been eating it since then. So that's what Shambhavi did to me. That's one like very grossly physical thing that happened. Other things that happened, they're very, very subtle. So it's really hard to put in words, but I mean, the more I've been doing it, the better it's become. The more and more I'm doing it, the better and better and better it's becoming. It's like a kind of a cleansing. It feels like a bathtub to me, or like not like a shower, more like it's something you do and you just feel clean after it. And if I don't do it in the morning, sometimes I do it at the nighttime. Then during the time of during the day, I don't feel clean. Like I can get irritated easily in compared to otherwise. But if I do it in the morning, I go through the day effortlessly, energetically, and I'm good. It's kind of like if people, I have this kind of distant point of view about myself. Like I can look at things and they're objective, more objective. Like I'm less egoistic, so to speak. I'm less in my ego. I'm more in my universal kind of self. I can look at this person and see, oh, why is he mad? Why am I not? Like sometimes when people piss me off, where I would be pissed off, I don't become pissed off anymore at all. I just look at it and I'm like, what's happening? And it's really strange to other people because they get pissed off. I'm like, ugh. And then I don't. Like, I just look at it. But if I don't do it that morning, I can easily get irritated like that. Less than other people. Much less still, because I've been doing it still every day. But it's really good. So doing it in the morning has become really big priority for me now. So let's see what else has happened doing that. I just feel like having Sadhguru in my life is tied to Shambhavi. So when I do it, I just feel connected to Sadhguru. And that alone makes a lot of a difference. I feel like things in my life, they go in the right direction now. Before that, I was scattered all over the place. Like you take a water balloon and throw it on the wall and it just spatters the water everywhere. Now I feel like I'm more like a directed kind of like a shower, that it's still spread a little bit, but it's going in at least one direction. It's not like everywhere. I feel like things going in a certain direction, and that's very important to me. And Shambhavi is directly tied to that direction that I'm heading on my journey. And that's important because it's also tied in the whole thing that you cannot fall so much, because it's easy to get a high experience. You can take drugs, or you can fall in love, or you can have certain chemicals in your body. You can maybe, make a sale of your business. I don't know, like there's many things that can happen. You feel really good. But the problem is when you fall back down, and then you feel really shit, because once you tasted something great, and you fall back down to like the base level, you feel much shittier than if the greatness never happened. So that's something that Shambhavi did for me. Like, I'm steadily growing my base level of experience and life and beauty and, you know, wonder of life. Just the amount of stability that I've gotten is so much higher. Like, if I put it in numbers, it's at least 250% better than when I started. 225% better, I would say. Like, in terms of stability, joy, you know, and just raw kind of energy that I have, it's like 200 to 250% better than when I started out. So massive. And I've been doing it now for, let's say, 16 months, maybe something like that. And I think it'll just get better and better and better. And so yeah, I hope you liked that video. I'm sure there's still a lot of things I could say about Shambhavi, and maybe I will at a later point. But I really feel like that's a good point to stop right here. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you can learn something today. And I also hope you start picking up Shambhavi. Just do the online course and then complete it with Sadhguru next year in Basel. Not Basel, somewhere in Switzerland there will be completion. Mega events. There's one in Delhi now, I think in October. That's pretty good, doing with Sadhguru. Otherwise, you can always do it with a teacher who's been trained to initiate you. And I'm signing out. Peace.